Calaroga Shark Media.
Hey there, it's one of the worst days of the year. It's back to work day. I'm so glad I work for myself. And hello, I am Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. A daily briefing on stand-up comedy, comedians, and the comedy industry, which is a sentence you would say if you are successfully seeing increases in your Spotify downloads as you're trying to goose the Spotify algorithm. That's just a pro tip there. Hopefully the comedians get back to work. It's getting a little thin out there. I've got enough for you today, especially as we catch up on New Year's Eve. Bert Kreischer's New Year's Eve special, not sure it went too well. I've been looking for recaps, haven't seen any that were good. People on social media did not like it. And CBS had a technical snafu. They lost the broadcast of New Year's Eve Live, Nashville's Big Bash, for 12 minutes. Again, I've been working in radio since 1992. 12 minutes is an eternity. If there weren't some emergency conference calls on New Year's Day, there's a meeting today. I used to work with a guy named Frank. Frank would be holding a meeting this morning going, how did this happen and how does this never happen again? So to all the Franks out there, enjoy your meeting, a 12-minute gap. So what did they do, Johnny Mac? They started running Matlock. Can you imagine? You've got this big New Year's Eve show. You're trying to take on Ryan Seacrest, and it drops to the point where, like, you don't know what to do, so you throw on Matlock. That is a technical disaster. And that's just, it's New Year's Eve. You're having a party. You're not going to leave Matlock on. Everyone's going to turn that off. The interruption came about 50 minutes into the 5.5-hour special. I had no idea that special was that long. That's crazy. So what happened was at about 11:50 p.m. Eastern, which is exactly when you don't want this to happen, Lainey Wilson was in the middle of a song when suddenly it was interrupted. Shortly thereafter, a voice mentioned technical difficulties. Does the network still have the live announcer in the booth sitting there all day? They probably do, just for this. So CBS cut to a string of commercials. Been there, done that. That's what you do when something goes sideways. You just clear out all the spots. Then they threw on Matlock that appeared to start in progress. So they were probably dead rolling is the term. Dead rolling Matlock in case such a thing happens. So during a live show, you might run something in the background. Now, the reason you would do that is to keep your automation systems on time. That's my guess there. So somebody was dead rolling Matlock, ran out of commercials or hit the panic button, was like, hey, I don't know how to get this back up. Plus, it's like midnight, so are you calling the CBS boss, whoever's making this call, and be like, hey, boss, we don't know how to get Kreischer back up. What should we do? Should we run the Matlock tape? So somebody had to make that decision. Oh, the meeting today is going to be amazing. Can I sit in on it? Can you guys invite me to the meeting? I just want to sit in on it, because these are much more fun when you're not the one explaining what happened. You don't understand. This is a whole stress point. You know what I did on my 10th anniversary? Well, my 10th anniversary was in the middle of my week's vacation, and my boss told me I had to come into New York City to sit at my desk to monitor just in case the broadcast of Jamie Foxx's show from the Democratic National Convention went down. The DNC was not New York City. So I had to come in to an office, sit there, blow off my wife on our 10th anniversary, and just sit there miserable till like 11:30 at night, just in case the thing dropped. It did not drop. So I can't imagine the meeting they're having today. I want to sit in on it. After about 12 and a half minutes, Bert Kreischer and country singer Hardy came back on and apologized for the interruption. Gretchen Wilson then took the stage. Oh, that sounds wonderfully horrible. Also on New Year's Eve, Stephen Colbert was on Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen's show. Apparently, their whole, hey, let's get drunk on the air thing got a little out there this year. Is that really the best idea, guys? Hey, let's get our host drunk on the air. Is that really the best look for CNN? Anyway, Stephen Colbert told Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen, don't trust billionaires. They don't get rich by finding that money on the side of the road, brother. These last 5 months of Stephen Colbert's TV show might get a little interesting. So there I was. It was New Year's Eve. I was watching the Knicks. So while watching the Knicks, I was also playing on my phone. And let me get serious here. It is nice to have friends in this world. And I've been thinking about this for days, and it made me happy, and it made me a little sad. So normally on Wednesday nights, more often than not, you'll find me at trivia over at the brewery, unless it's volleyball season. See, my guys, we're a beach volleyball team. Bunch of guys. I'm like the young one, and I'm 56. And I'll tell you the name of our team. The name of our team is We're Old So Relax. Now, the reason it's called We're Old So Relax is so when you 20-somethings show up with the spike in your facers, you go, who are we playing? Oh, we're playing We're Old So Relax. That's weird. And then we show up when we're all in our late 50s plus, and you go, oh, calm the hell down. We're just there to have fun. It's suburban Morristown, New Jersey volleyball. Relax. So that's what I do in the summer. But in the winter, I go play trivia. But you got to understand, Morristown, New Jersey, on New Year's Eve, is a zoo. And my dog better stop barking. You hear the dog? Hopefully the noise reduction got the dog. Dog, I'm trying to be serious here for a second. Stop barking. You know what the dog's barking at? I'll tell you what it's barking at. As I record this, it's 3:01 p.m. The RoboVac goes out at 3 o'clock. 3 times a week, the RoboVac goes around the living room to clean up the dog hair. We do this every other day, and the dog just like, where was I? Normally, I go to trivia, but I didn't want to deal with Morristown, so I stayed home. So I'm playing on my phone, I'm watching things. And Jeff is one of the quote-unquote trivia guys. There's Bob, and there's Jeff. They're both really cool. And sometimes Johnny Mac's had one beer too many and argues the points on the questions, and they go, all right, normally he's not a total a-hole. We'll let him go on this one. I've learned over the years, just stop arguing. You're going to win a sticker. Calm down. Actually, there's a gift certificate if you finish first. Pretty good one, too. Anyway, there I am. I'm playing on my phone, and I go on Facebook, and I see from Jeff, who's one of the trivia guys, and Jeff, seriously, dude, bro, this meant so much to me, and this made me just made me feel loved and also guilty that I stayed in. Boy, I wish I had been there for this. I really wish I had been there. I'll ask the audience the question that Jeff posted. Question 5, the topic, shout out Johnny Mac. The question, and I'll answer it after the break. The Daily Comedy News podcast reported that Billboard reported that this comedian's Big Dumb Eyes World Tour was the top grossing comedy tour of 2025, grossing $56.7 million on 677,000 tickets sold. That was a trivia question. I would have gotten that one right. Although for laughs, I would have dumped that on Glenn and made him stress, and Glenn would have went, I don't know. So, Jeff, thank you so much, Jeff, one of the trivia guys. They're Best Men Trivia. If you were, I don't know how far these guys go. I know they come to Morristown, New Jersey, and I know they do a bunch of things. If you drive, I don't know, I'm making this number up, a 20-mile circle around that. Jeff might be throwing his phone across the room going, we're not going 20 miles, or maybe he's like, I'll go 200 miles. I don't know. Ask them. Best Men Trivia. They run a really nice show. Super pro. I'm usually home by 9:30. Again, I'm 56 years old. That's a bonus. Jeff, thank you so much for that. I'll reveal the answer after the break. Amy Schumer likes when we talk about her, so she went on Instagram on New Year's Eve. She posted, Happy New Year, hashtag sensual photo. People magazine describes the picture as featuring the newly single Schumer sitting alone on a sofa in a dimly room. She wore a loose-fitting t-shirt underneath a black hoodie and was makeup-free with her hair in a ponytail. She also crossed her eyes and made a funny face while holding onto a container of spaghetti. Amy, why don't you take a time out from social media? That's just some free advice. Just why don't you chill out for, I don't know, a month, figure out what's going on with your divorce, get your life together, and then come out with a new special, okay? Just you stay off Instagram. Just trying to help. Now, you know what today is? Today's the kickoff for Comedy Survivor. So at noon Eastern today, there'll be a bonus episode explaining Comedy Survivor. The short version here, 16 comedians on a hypothetical island. You guys are going to vote someone off. You'll go to the Facebook group, which is Daily Comedy News Podcast Group. I'll tell you the contestants and all that in the bonus episode out at noon today. If you're listening between 7 a.m. Eastern and noon Eastern, voting is already live. You go to the Facebook group and you can vote someone off. If you voted off Amy Schumer, hey, that's up to you. I'm not saying, as a host, it wouldn't be cool for me to suggest who you vote off. That's not cool at all. I'm the omniscient host. You know, Jeff on the Survivor shows, not trivia Jeff Probst. Jeff Probst doesn't show up and be like, you know, if you wanted to vote Boston Rob off, I wouldn't be upset about that. Like, he wouldn't do that. I love Boston Rob. Can I tell you how much I love Boston Rob? I love Boston Rob. Anyway, bonus episode coming out at noon today. Now, over at the 800-pound gorilla, you know what they did? They sent me publicity. You know how I complain about the Hulu publicist, that the Hulu publicist will not engage with me? The 800-pound gorilla people are the opposite. They're like, hey, new special. And I was like, oh, what's this new special? It's a new crowdwork special from Gianmarco Soresi, 3-time guest and friend of the show. Gianmarco hasn't gone all Jim Gaffigan on us. Nope, friend of the show comes on. His best crowdwork moments from 2025, from messed up family stories to Theater Kid confessions and the unhinged overshares, Gianmarco successfully turns chaos into punchlines. I shared a link to that in the Facebook group, which is Daily Comedy News Podcast Group. And don't forget, Comedy Survivor is there. And if you voted off Amy Schumer, I mean, that's on you. You pick who you want to vote off. The Great Outdoors Comedy Festival announced its lineup for its 6th year as one of North America's premier destinations for live comedy. That's code for Canada. Matt Rife will headline across all 6 GOCF weekends in Edmonton, Winnipeg, Halifax, Calgary, Spokane, and Vancouver, bringing his magnetic stage presence, razor-sharp crowd work, and viral appeal to outdoor venues throughout the summer. Comedian, actor, TV host, and host of the Golden Globes, Nikki Glaser will headline in Halifax, closing out the weekend alongside Fortune Feimster and Steph Tolev, with more 2026 lineup reveals to come. So here's what we know so far. Edmonton, Friday, July 17th, TBA. Saturday, Rife. Sunday, TBA. Then in Winnipeg, that same weekend, Friday, TBA. Saturday, TBA. Sunday, Matt Rife and Friends. Okay. Interesting how they're having simultaneous ones in Edmonton and Winnipeg. Halifax, you guys got to wait till August 6th, Thursday night, Matt Rife. Friday, more Matt Rife. Saturday, TBA. Sunday, Nikki Glaser, Fortune Feimster, Steph Tolev. Then at the end of August in Calgary, Friday night, August 28th, Matt Rife. Saturday and Sunday, TBA. Then, because it's North America, they come all the way down south to Spokane, Washington for Friday, August 28th, TBA. Saturday, the 29th, Matt Rife and Friends. And on the 30th, TBA. Boy, TBA might be Comedian of the Year. And if you're in Vancouver or the suburbs, I don't know where you live, in Stanley Park, which is an awesome park. Across from Stanley Park, when I was there, it's 15 years ago now, there was a bike rental shop. It has to still be there. I wanted to just give up my life, move to Vancouver, buy that bike shop, and just rent bikes to tourists. I don't know anything about bicycles or how to operate a shop or how you move to Canada and own a business. I don't know how that works. But boy, I loved Stanley Park. And if I'm there on Sunday, August 30th, I'll see Matt Rife, and maybe I'll rent a bike and ride past him. All right, shucking and jiving today, getting a pretty decent show. I actually bounced a couple stories, which is a luxury if you're me. Again, Comedy Survivor begins today. There'll be a bonus episode at noon Eastern. Vote one person off now through end of day Thursday. Voting will be over when I wake up on Friday. Why, John? Because John wants to record these on Friday. That's why.
Oh, and I forgot to tell you the trivia answer when I was on a proper microphone. I'm dropping this in as part of the edit. The answer to the trivia question was, of course, Nate Bargatze.
Jim Breuer spoke to the Christian Post. I found this really interesting. I worked with Jim Breuer when he had the radio show at Sirius. We were there together for 10 years. Traveled with Jim. I'm very fond of Jim. We had a lot of real conversations. And everything I read here really is in line with what Jim is all about. So Jim tells them a story that he ran into a young woman at a camera store who had recognized Jim from Saturday Night Live and told Jim about her intention to move to LA to make it big in the entertainment business. When Jim realized how excited she was just to see Jim Breuer, he began to feel a paternal instinct to protect her from the industry. That is very, very Jim. As Jim told the Christian Post, all I can think about is, like, if this kid goes to California and she's this excited over me, I'm a nobody. I'm not a producer. If you go out to L.A. and you're putting yourself out that hard, these demonic monsters, they see you coming. Jim said he had a 45-minute conversation with the girl and explained how predators in the entertainment business will chew her up and discard her. That is very Jim, and Jim's not wrong. I got honest with her. I talked about people I know that got sucked up by this industry, drugs. I got so honest and real with her. By the time it was over, she was like, wow, I never thought of that stuff. I went, no, nobody does. You need to know these things. So I'm telling you right now, I can tell you're willing to listen to anyone, and they will take advantage of you, and they will target you. Trust me. And that's exactly, again, I know Jim pretty well. He would have slowed down, and he would have said, trust me. You know what? Let's get out on that one today. That's your comedy news for today. Comedy Survivor coming up at noon Eastern, and a normal episode tomorrow. See you then.